Right, Aussie Bonsai Bloke here you go. Today, we've got this Trident Maple. I should have worked on it a little bit earlier, but always shoulda, coulda, woulda, but didn't. Okay, so the day after, took the daughter out for her birthday, 11th birthday, we had a good night, had some tea, and she's got a couple of turtles for birthday, so she's pretty happy looking after her turtles. And anyway, I thought I'd sneak out today. Today we're going out to putt-putt golf with a daughter and her friend, and so that'll be today gone. So I thought I'd just quickly sneak out. I've got about half an hour to work on this tree quick, so it's going to be a real quick one. I'm not going to talk too much. Basically, I got this tree from a bloke called Jared. He's sort of like our part of the group, sort of group gathering that we used to do for a year or two. And he gave this to me. He's got quite a few of them, I think. Grew them in the ground, Trident maples. He loves them, and they are pretty cool. So I'm going to work on that. So cheers, Jared, and we'll just do a quick work on this and maybe a repot. Okay, first I'm going to trim the top. I'll give you a bit of a close up of the bottom of the tree. I think he's put a fair bit of effort into the roots. As I say, every good bonsai starts with the roots. So he's actually, I think he's got an upside down nursery container in here so that the roots spread out across it and then go down the side of the pot. I'm pretty sure. So he's done all the hard work, and I'm just going to repot it and put it back into this pot without that pot underneath. So you can see he's done all the hard work. So we need to choose a decent root base, and well, probably here's not bad. Yeah, it's probably there. That'll give us a branch out to the left, one out to the right. And if we were to choose a different, probably your best root system is this one here. That's quite nice. This one here will be still pretty good under the ground, and as it calluses over and gets thicker, it's going to cover in nicely anyway. Here's probably pretty good as well, except it does look a bit awkward with those big cuts, but like I say, they'll callus over and smooth out anyway in time. But I think a good compromise is going to be, you know, somewhere about there. That way you see this nice root flare out here, root flare out here, and this one out the front, it'll smooth out in time and won't look so, you know, abrupt in your face. And then you've got this branch out to the side. It's a pity the branch out to the side has got its main strong growth on the inside, but that's alright, we'll deal with that. We could even cut down to this little one down here. Okay, so let's get to it. Wrong time, a little bit of the wrong time of year. It's the right time of year, it's just literally about 2 weeks too late. So it could bleed a bit. So we'll chop down to this little shoot down here, and then that'll hopefully take off at 1,000,000 miles an hour with all the extra energy it's going to get. So we just want to, I don't want to cut, I'll clean this back up later. I don't want to cut too close to that shoot so it doesn't dry back into that shoot. So I'll just create a little bit of movement towards that outside now, a little bit of taper, and that's about it. Clean off these on the inside of this main trunk. Obviously not going to need them. Probably not going to need That one's straight out the front. I'll probably leave this one here. Bit of a side branch. I might even leave this really low one down here. Cut this one off. And I'm just going to let these grow really strong. I'm also going to leave this one here as a back branch. Just let them grow really strong. I'm not going to cut them back at all. Basically, I'm just looking to spread growth out through the whole tree. And then we'll just come back a bit so you can see a bit better. And then we've got to decide what we're going to do with this trunk at the top. So I'll get out my gomboy. I know, I've got a bit of leak in my coffee. Bit of Trident coffee. Okay. So yeah, I've had a pretty couple of rush weekends, and this weekend's no exception. Just going to rush through this and then get ready and off we go for the day. Okay, so don't really want to bring it back. We've got this strong one down here. Out to the side here you can see. And I don't really want to cut it off. I've got to cut this trunk off at some sort of an angle. That's what I've got to do. And I don't really want to cut it back towards that way. And then have a strong one out here. Because that will, it'll just look weird. Because you'll have the apex over the top of this apex. You want it sort of going the opposite way over this side. So what I'm going to probably do, I think, is choose a couple of strong ones here, cut at an angle all the way down to this strong one here. I'll cut all the way down to that strong one there, or close to it, to create taper, and then just see how it shoots and heals after that. So if I'm going to do that, I want to keep these ones out the way because I'm keeping them. And the rest of this here will all just go. Just it's the only thing for it. Unless I have a quick look and decide that I like this as the front, which I don't think I do. I think I'm still pretty happy with the front that we've chosen. Okay, so I'm going to try to do this without scratching up the other branches too much. It's going to be a bit difficult. Really need two people, one to hold it out the way and one to cut. Now this is extremely sharp, so I've got to be careful for that. And I do want to make sure, so I do have this strong one here that I could keep. No, it's in the wrong spot. Okay. Very hard to get in there. In fact, I've already cut one of the ones that I was going to keep. Hang on, let's go back. There's the front. So I've got to cut across that way. Oh, so I can keep this one. But I like this one better, so I'll keep that one. So now I have to cut across without cutting any other branches. So yeah, it's going to be hard. There's so many branches in the way. And I've got to try and cut across all this. Alright, let's get to it. Just take it off the turntable, otherwise it's moving around a bit much. Really got to try and get all these branches out of the way. I know I'm going to cut something that I'm not meant to. Always happens. Okay, let's go again. Be careful, you only get one go at this. So if you cut off a branch that you want it, you've probably got to wait another year for it to grow back to that sort of strength. So be careful. You can see I've taken a little while to get into the groove of where I'm cutting, but hopefully it'll mean that I'll get to keep all the branches that I want to. Now I could cut through a lot faster, but I'm being really careful, so. Just cutting through, getting close now. Okay, so we've cut that off. Created a little bit of taper here. Probably going to cut, well, we'll see how we're going. So we got the side branch, side branch, side branch, another side branch here, back branch here, and then we might keep sort of like two branches here, one for the side and one for the upright. Probably both from up here. So I'm going to actually cut. You can see here where I've cut, it's actually goes quite fat here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually cut the side off here, and then maybe later on get in here and carve it out a little bit. We'll see. They do roll over pretty easy, so maybe I'll leave it for a year, and then if I have to carve it, I'll carve it. But you know, this is as easy as it is to develop a deciduous tree from a bit of stock. Just put a few branches here and there, cut down the apex for taper, and then just start working your tree. Let the branches you want to thicken up grow really long. I'm not going to cut any of these back, and just let them grow really long and healthy, and fertilise the crap out of it. Okay, so let's cut back a bit more here. We've got to seriously hurry up because we're going, that crack was one of the branches I'm cutting off anyway, because we're going putt-putt golfing, so I better hurry up. Okay, so that's done. Really, I should take away a lot of that bulk there now, because we've got a bit of a V hanging out here. It's actually facing out like that, and you really want that to go in so that it can callus around that. So really I should carve it now, I guess, just to get rid of some of that bulk so that it can callus around without creating inverse taper. If you carve that out now, shouldn't create too much inverse taper. Time's getting away from me, so I'm just trying to work out what's going to be the quickest way. I think I'll get could nearly saw through there. No, I'm going to have to get the Dremel out. I really got to hurry up. I'll go get the Dremel. Okay guys, how's this? Just went and had a look. Got the die grinder. And guess what? I got my homemade carving bit on there. So let's see how that goes, eh? Gonna give that a bit of a whirl. Forgot that I made that. Let's get that cord out the way, don't want to cut into that. Okay guys, well, I got that ground out. You can see it burnt it a bit, so it must be a little bit blunt, but it's still got the job done. And then that'll hopefully callus around in there and, you know, hopefully turn it into something. I'll just cut this back here. Now I may have to finish this later, I don't know, I'm running out of time. I don't really like doing these rushed videos, but I just don't seem to get the time to do it. And you can see I went way out of control, did a big undercut here, just touched my finger but didn't cut it. And we got to hope I didn't go in too far and do some damage, but that's just going to be a character of the tree. We'll see how she turns out. We'll leave it there. It'll probably heal over. If it doesn't, then we'll have to do some more carving and get rid of that bit. But either way, for now, it's part of the character of the tree. So we got the taper, we got the branches, put on a tiny bit of quick wire just to bring them out just a bit. And then they can grow as long as they like for the whole summer and fatten up, and then work on it again next year. And that's it, pretty much. That's how you work on a deciduous tree. Pretty much that's how you do it from scratch. You grow your trunk, get your trunk to a certain size, and then eliminate branches and cut the top like I have here. That's it. Or if you collect a deciduous tree out the garden, it's exactly how you do it. That's all you do. So now let's just put on a quick bit of wire. I'm going to do it really rough, really quick, and then I've got to quickly repot it before I get into big trouble, because we got to go out. Okay, so let's just put a bit of wire on. Okay, so I want to push this one out a little bit from the trunk. To do that, I can't just wire these two branches, because then there's nothing to push it out from the trunk. I have to actually wrap around something on the other side like this one to be able to get movement out. I'm just wondering whether that's thick enough wire or not. Maybe not. Might go size up just for that one. So I'll go around the back of the tree, go around this one, and I only want to go up one side. Try not to knock off all these new leaves. It's not a big deal because I'm going to be cutting it back once it's got fat at the base, but try not to, because you know, it's put all that energy into it, into shooting out, and here I am knocking them off, so just be careful. So then I want to go to the other side of the trunk, so it's got something to push out against. If you just wire these two, it's just going to flop around. There's nothing for it to actually, there's no, I don't know, scaffolding or strength against the trunk to actually bend anything. So I just got to be real careful. And I'm literally just bending them out, so I don't need a lot of wire going all the way up the branches. Sorry, this is a bit rushed, I know. So I'm just bending them out a little bit. Same with this one. Just want to bend it out a bit. I don't want it horizontal down, I want it still going up, but just spread it a little bit. Nothing major. I mean, you could almost call this beginner. I might even put that in the title of the video. This would be beginner, I don't know, first steps to making a bonsai or something, maybe. And now what I want to do is go on the smaller size stuff. Okay, so now that I've got the bend out with here, because they're pushing against each other, so it's able to bend out, is because I want this one here to bend out a little bit as well. I'm going to wrap it up this one now, this one at the back, because that's already got wire on it and strength to hold it from the bit of wire that went around the trunk and on the other branch. So I'm just going to wrap it around that one and then back up this one. And these, you know, these are the original. This is the only time, or one of the only times, that I'm going to put wire on this tree, just to get some movement out, just to spread out the canopy in the first initial stages of the tree. And I may do it on the second styling, and then after the second styling next year, it's probably going to be all. So I don't spend a lot of time with wire, just the first initial styling. I hope that makes sense. I know I find it hard to come up with words, just because I've got a bit of a silly brain. wasn't gifted in the brains department, so I have a little bit of trouble talking sometimes. Alright, so we're going to bend them out away from the trunk, but still the first initial movement is up. You can see it goes up and then out, and then I'm just going to bend the tips up in the air so they get maximum sunlight, and then I'll do the same with the top. Okay, I'm going to leave this little one I accidentally cut off. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to leave this side one and the big main one, and I'm going to cut the rest off. Hey bud, I'm in a bit of a hurry because we got to get going.
Yeah, hot.
Yeah. So I'm going to keep that one as a side one and the leader.
Well,
I'll cut this other one off.
For a ride.
Yeah, take Leo for a ride, give him a good ride, and then he's got to get put away till we get home again. Poor boy. Poor little Leo boy. Yeah. Okay, and then all I'm doing now is going to wrap it around this main leader. So it'll sort of be the apex, but there's, in the end, there'll be a lot of branches that will contribute to the apex. Even this one out here, these ones here will contribute to the apex. And it'll all become a nice canopy. At the moment I'm calling it the apex, even though it won't be, it's, you know, there'll be more branches contributing to it, but at the moment I'll call it the apex, because it is at the apex at the moment. Okay, wrap it around this side branch, bend the side branch out, and then up. Put some movement into this main apex, just a little bit. But as it fattens up, it's going to be probably cut back, well, there we go, it's cut back pretty hard already. It's going to say it'll be cut back pretty hard, and now it's going to be cut back pretty hard now. So that'll reshoot out here, become part of the apex, and this will become part of the apex. So no big deal. And in fact, now that this one here has still got all the shoots on, it may take over as the apex, but that's fine. And this one here, we may as well cut back a bit more now because the buds are actually back here now. So I might actually help it. And these are apically dominant trees anyway, so it's not going to hurt if the top gets cut back harder. And yes, I know I'd say that anyway, just because I snapped the branch to make it look better for myself, but I'm not fussed. If it was one of the good bottom ones out here, then I'd be pretty worried about snapping it off, because it's pretty hard to get one to fatten up, you know. Once you've got good strong ones at the top, it's hard to get a bottom one to really fatten up unless you let it grow out a good couple of meters. So anyway, so that's first initial styling of a deciduous tree. Pretty crude, I know. I'm just going to let all that grow out, let it get strong, let it fatten up. And then next year come back in here and cut it hard. Okay, another thing we're going to do quickly is repot it. Now I believe there's a little, I believe there could be a pot underneath, or maybe not. If there's not a pot underneath, then I'm gonna, what's going on here? If there's not a pot underneath, oh there is, okay. So you can see he's put a pot underneath and a tile. Looks like there's a tile in here as well. Ooh. So I'll just shake all these roots out. They're just going to shake out, I think. Okay, here comes the tile. So he's put a fair bit of effort into trying to make a flat root base, so that's pretty cool. He's done all the hard work for me. And then I just get to enjoy the good root base. Pretty good. So I'll scratch the root base a bit. You can see it's got a decent sort of a root base over here. So he's had the tile in there. I hope you guys could see that. I think I was a bit off camera. Jeez. I hate these rushed videos, but I feel like at the moment it's the only way I can even get a video out. It's painful. I just seem to be so damn busy. If I'm not working in the garden doing the lawn and doing other stuff. And my trees are calling out for me for spring to do repotting and all that stuff. And I just seem to be so busy. Anyway, that's alright. We'll get through it. So you can see all the good roots he's got here. So he had a tile underneath. If you didn't see it, I don't know if it was on camera. He had a tile underneath, sitting on this pot here, and then inside this big pot here. And you can see it's actually worked really well. Good technique. If any of you have got the time and the patience to do that, it's actually not that hard. And now you can see the spread of roots. It's quite amazing. So he's done a really good job doing that and giving me a really good root base. Thanks, Jared. Cheers, mate. I'm going to put this soil back in the pot. Use it again because we're only sort of growing this thing up at the moment. And there's a few worms in there I see, so that's good. So we'll put that back in there. And then I'll tip some more. Sorry about all this rushing, but we're getting into danger territory here. See what rushing does? I think I've snapped this little branch I have. You might reshoot something else out of there, we'll see. It was a nice little low branch to come out of there. Now it doesn't have it. Probably doesn't need it, but it would have been nice to have it. Anyway, that's what happens when you rush. Try to give yourself a bit more time than I've got to work on a tree. Meant to be a nice, relaxing, enjoyable process. But this is one way to get it done quick. No mucking around. I might even just trim these long roots back. Now that he's done all the hard work, just trim them back and let them regrow. So what I mean by if you comb them out, I've said in previous videos, if you go to all the effort of combing out your roots, this one could be combed right out, then you cut them all off at the end anyway. That's why I'm not a big believer in combing them all out. But yeah, he's done a really good job with that root base. It's pretty cool. Okay, so then I'm just going to put it back in this pot, put some soil in, jam it back in there, give it a good wobble, fill it up with soil again, and this way it'll have the whole pot to grow into. Now that we've already got our good root base there, it'll hopefully grow nice and strong throughout the summer, and we'll have some good branching and stuff to work with next year. We've already got the good trunk now, thanks to Jared. The good nabari, good root spread. Nabari is a Japanese word. I shouldn't really use it because we're not Japanese, so good root spread. We've got that. Surface roots. And let's finish putting it around there. I don't really need to expose any of these roots right now because we are trying to grow the tree, not expose the roots. Okay, done. Now because we use some black potting mix and the trunk's all dirty now from all the potting mix, you're not going to see the root base very well, but I'll try my best. bring you in a close-up. So there's the branch structure. Root base in there, which you've already seen. Yeah, sorry about that. Repotting and taking the tile out, because I think you were off camera, silly me. And I also broke this little branch off the side here in my rush. And snapped the apex, but like I say, that's just going to shoot out and probably actually improve it. So it's no big drama, but the small one I'm a little bit annoyed about. And also that. And now if I was taking my time, probably none of that would have happened. But anyway, it's all good. It is what it is. We work on them when we can. No worries. Give you a bit of a spin. And that's it to working on a tree. Just a real pity about that carbon mark, but like I said, it could create character in the long run. No worries. Cheers for watching Aussie Bonsai Bloke. Please like, share, subscribe, tell your mates about the channel, and thank you very much. Cheers.